Hello and welcome to Deep Cuts the Game, the movie trivia podcast with great movies and great guests. Every week I bring on three interesting people, give them three movies, and challenge them to pull out the most obscure actors they can. The deeper the cut, the more points they earn. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me as always, a guy who's part man and part Fraggle, Alex Young. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Who is that joke for, man? Jeez.
People 45 plus, I guess, Alex, that know who Fraggles
Fun fact,
are.
my screenwriting teacher in college was one of the writers on Fraggle Rock.
Wow.
See, the joke was for you then,
Bringing
too,
it all
Alex.
together. And we went to the same school, Jeff, only 30 years apart.
Yeah, 12 years apart, my friend. How are you doing, bud?
I'm pretty good. How are you? You're over the jet lag from your trip?
No, I'm actually probably more tired now than I was those first few days. Because the first few days back from a trip, you're like energized and you're like, life's fun. And then you get a week into like doing just like normal work again. And you're like, ugh, vacation was so long ago and
You're
it's
right,
so
Jeff.
far away.
You should never travel again.
I should never work again, I think is what I've decided, Alex. But I'm doing okay. Did you have anything to talk about off the top or are you just...
No, I don't. I'm excited to talk to our guests.
All right. Well, let's bring in our first guest, though. His name's Brantley Palmer. We've had him on the show many times. I think this is his second visit back this season. And we always kind of joke it's diminishing returns with Brantley. He started off very hot on the show, putting up one of the highest scores ever, and has like, you know, a little worse every time. But that's okay.
Yeah,
You know,
that
it's
was the
just for fun.
episode you asked me what movies I'd be good at, and you gave me Armageddon, and then I destroyed, and then I've come back and had no idea and really struggled. But who cares about me? Let's go to the real guest we have
The
here.
real guest,
BoJesse.
yes. All right. So today on Deep Cuts the Game, we're joined by an actor whose career has spanned more than 3 decades across film and television. You know him as Gromit from Catherine Bigelow's classic Point Break, alongside Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves. But his resume goes way beyond the waves. He's appeared in everything from True Detective and NCIS Los Angeles to Married with Children, Beverly Hills 90210, and Quantum Leap. And one of my favorites, I've never seen it, honestly, but the classic Meatballs 4.
Yeah.
He's also worked behind the camera as a writer, producer, and director while mentoring actors through his own acting studio. Please welcome the one and only BoJesse Christopher. BoJesse, thanks for being here.
Oh, I mean, thank you for that gracious introduction, and thank you for having me. This is super fun to be here, and excited to paint. Let's do it.
Well, the first, I was going to ask you this, because sometimes IMDb will give you information. I'm like, is that factual? So I was curious about your name, BoJesse, and according to IMDb, you're named both after the musician Bo Diddley and the outlaw Jesse James, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, short story. There's a big story I can just really get into. But the short story is my dad was a musician, and he came up with this crazy combination: Bo Diddley after the blues guitarist and Jesse James after the cowboy outlaw. One word, capital J. There it is. He's an outlaw with rhythm. And my mom's like, okay,
sure.
That's the one line on it. Yeah.
Like there's only so many shoes you can fill there. Like those are big shoes to fill. But then combining them together. And if I'm not mistaken, you were born in San Francisco. Is that where you grew up?
Born and raised in San Francisco. And then I think in like my formative years, when as a teenager, we moved to Pacifica, which was just south of San Francisco. And that's where I ended up discovering surfing and really getting pulled towards wanting to be an actor, and got a plan together to move to LA and pursue my career in TV and film after that.
So you mentioned surfing, and we had John Philbin on, who's a friend of yours, and Matt Adler as well, because they had done North Shore. I have a poster for North Shore up there. They did that together. So was that part of your audition for Point Break at the time? Like you knew how to surf, so that kind of gave you a leg up on other people going for those roles?
No, actually, my story, and there's so much I can tell you about all the stories, but I'll give you kind of like the log line, is that it wasn't my audition. I didn't have an audition for Point Break. It was my best friend at the time, Brian Austin Green, who later became famous for becoming David Silver, Beverly Hills 90210. But before 90210, there was Point Break, and it was his audition. I drove him to the audition. I waited for him in the waiting room for his audition. Casting director came out and said, "Are you next?" I said, "No." He said, "Are you an actor?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You're next." And he pulled me into the room and I improvised everything that I studied with Brian on the way to his audition. So I had it in my, I downloaded that information, and I was that guy because I was that surfer kid who understood, the zeitgeist and was coming from surfing to get into my acting career. And just the moment just sort of brought me to that opportunity. And I stood up on a chair and I did the campfire scene, the famous campfire scene, where you drop down into the pit, man, 25 feet straight down, your balls, Jeff, Alex, Brantley, your balls are about this big and the whole thing's freaking roaring, right? Pushing you forward like, I don't know, fellas, like we're a hoodlum on a freight train or something, man. That whole monologue. And just very quickly, then I'll end the story. The casting director says, give me a second. He walked out of the room and he came back with Catherine Bigelow. And he said, do that again. And I did it. And she booked me in the room. She said, you're hired.
That's awesome.
She didn't know I even surfed until after that.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was like within 24 hours of that, they were asking questions. And then they found out that I also surf and all this stuff. And it all just sort of like came together. So that's the long answer to your question. There's more to that story, certainly.
Right place at the right time, I guess. Was it an awkward drive back with Brian in the car? And he's like, you're like, how'd your audition go? And he's like, I think it went pretty well. And I was like, it didn't go as well as me just showing up.
He knew immediately as soon as they pulled me in, because I had his car keys in my pocket because I drove him while he learned the line sitting shotgun in his own car opposite me while I was kind of like breaking down what everything meant in that monologue from the surfer's point of view. And so I had his keys in my pocket. He had to wait for me. And then that awkward drive home was like predicated on me coming out of the room and me looking at him and going, I got it. And him going, no, man, that's not how it works. It doesn't happen that way. And I'm like, I got it. Because she booked me in the room. She said, you're hired. You start tomorrow.
Wow. So, because he would have been doing 90210 right at that same time, right? Like this wasn't like
right
prior
after.
To that, right after.
Yeah,
oh,
it was
wow.
like right after that because, I had done Point Break and I came back from doing Point Break. We shot Point Break for 9 months. It was booked for 12 weeks. It extended into 9 months. It's a whole nother plethora of questions and fun answers. But when I was done with that, I was basically unemployed again and on the audition circuit, and the movie hadn't come out yet. So no one really was like, who's this kid in this new movie yet? But so I ended up auditioning for Beverly Hills 90210 and getting really close to the Steve Sanders role.
Oh,
and
wow.
then I didn't get it. And then it was one of those things that like brought Brian and I back together. But then I think in like season 4, I ended up getting a recurring role on the show after auditioning for the show. Like, I don't know. I mean, so many times and getting so close and so frustrated. They finally gave me a couple episodes as Mr. Andy, the campus drug dealer in like season 4 and with Brian. So, I'm getting Brian hooked on drugs in the plot, so it was a really cool full circle moment. And that's I'm just rambling now, but that's
no, it's cool. We love these stories. No.
Okay.
Alex and I have joked about it. It's like, we used to just have like our friends on and stuff like that. And our stories suck because, when the person says, oh, my friend David, you're like, who's David? But when you say Brian, everyone's like, I know who he's talking about. So we can immediately follow this story. Even if you're not a big 90210 fan, you know who David Silver was.
It's a fun one, man. I mean, it's a really, really fun one because all my friends at the time before Point Break were all big TV stars. Like when I moved to LA from San Francisco or from Pacifica, really, I got thrown into a really interesting group of young actors: David Faustino, Alyssa Milano, Christina Applegate, Corey Nemec, Baltazar Getty, Brian Austin Green, like all these young actors that had shows. And I was basically the only one not working, but I was kind of an outsider, but I was in their group and they loved me and I loved them and I was learning from them and they were learning from me and we were all friends. And then when I got that movie, it was I finally had gotten something, that was like tangible and really gave me some roots in Southern California. And that felt really good.
You mentioned David Faustino. I think one of your first like official acting credit in a movie or TV show is Married with Children, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've gone back and watched any Married with Children, but were you a boyfriend of Kelly or something like that? That seems like role you would have. Okay.
So I played Rick. Rick and Jeff were kind of the two. I mean, there was quite a few boyfriends. She had a lot of boyfriends on the show, but I was definitely a more memorable boyfriend, and it was one of those things that came to me for a couple of reasons. One, I was with David Faustino and our crew of people almost every day, but every day was really on the sound stage where they were filming Married with Children, which is Sunset Gower Studios. And so we were there almost 6 days a week. I was there for every taping of almost every episode ever produced in the entire run of the show, which was really cool. So before I got on the show, I was behind the scenes and seeing it all come together and getting a masterclass, just being so close to the heat, that by the time I was auditioning, I was in the audition circuit, and there was a role that popped up that seemed to fit me, and the producers, the creators knew me and liked me, but made me go through the audition process, which is good for an actor, obviously, to feel like you can step into the room and meet the moment. But it felt like it was mine to lose, and I kind of knew that because I knew everyone, and I got it. And it was my first official television credit, it was already my family, so I got to kind of step into the world in front of the camera, and it was fun to do because Christine Applegate was and still is a dear friend of mine. So being able to work with Chris was just meaningful and fun.
We've had other people on that have like moved from TV to movies, and like I think it was an actor, actually, Jim Piddock. He's a British actor, and he talked about going on to multiple different TV shows for like 1 or 2 episodes, and how, I believe, I want to paraphrase what he said, but like it's kind of like one of the worst experiences sometimes, because like you said, they are a family. So as an outsider, sometimes you show up and everybody knows each other and they're all friends, and like you're there for 1 episode, you're there for a week kind of thing. So what's your experiences joining these kind of long running shows that you've been a part of, like NCIS and Married with Children, Beverly Hills, outside of the ones where maybe you were kind of like accepted immediately because you knew everyone?
Yeah. So there's two parts of that question that are really cool and fun to speak to. Like, so with Married with Children, with Beverly Hills 90210 specifically, those are my friends, like every single person on Beverly Hills 90210, all those big stars at the time, every single one of them were my friends already in advance of like getting onto the show, because of the world that I sort of came up in LA when I moved here, all my social circles. And then I did a lot of press from Point Break. I did a lot of publicity with Jason Priestley and Luke Perry, and there's a whole Jamie Walters from another show, crossover, Dana Ashbrook from Twin Peaks, and like we did a lot of press together. So by the time I got on those shows, I knew everybody, even the gals are all friends of mine. But some of the other shows, it's interesting because you come on and there's a lot of it's intense, it's stressful, but it's also, there's an art to it. Like I think there's an art to plugging into an existing world that's been created for the audience it's meant for, and they have success, and there's musicality and flow in that ensemble, and then you have to plug into that and somehow add something memorable that keeps it going and flowing in the direction that the audience feels like it needs to interact with while it's watching. So I think there's an art to being a guest star, and I think there's a lot of internal stuff as an artist that comes along with being excited and anxious, and then managing those feelings, and ultimately just sort of like stepping into your confidence and adapting quickly but effectively, which I think again is an art, but I'm good at that. And I think that's the stoke, that's the fire, that's the thing that keeps me wanting more when it comes to acting. I love that scary edge. So kind of like a parallel universe to Point Break, and like, just kind of looking at that scary edge and jumping off and catching wind and flying instead of like standing at the edge and for fear of a negative outcome, never doing it. I like to step into the discomfort and find my comfort while I'm in flight, So that's always been fun in terms of being a guest star.
Well, you're fitting in great on this show as a guest star. Thanks.
Cool. Cool.
So you've had, I believe Married with Children was something like 89. So we're looking at like 30. We don't have to talk about how old we are now, BoJesse. I'm not as young as I may look. It's weight hides wrinkles, I've found. So
don't worry, Jeff, you don't look.
It's life.
It's okay.
Yeah. But I was going to ask you. you've had, some time to reflect, and, sometimes this could be a hard question to answer, but like, I'm sure there's roles you went for and you didn't get, and it's like, oh, I really wanted that one. But has there ever been something you turned down that you're like, in hindsight, like it didn't, nope, nothing? Okay.
Never to, no. Well, it's interesting because, can I answer that question?
For sure.
With sharing with you the thing that I had that I lost?
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
I didn't turn it down, but I had it, and then it was taken away from me.
Yeah, please.
It became huge. So my mindset is like, I'm not in the business of turning opportunities down, not because of desperation, but because opportunities allow you to step in and kind of find out more about yourself in that opportunity. So I always welcome opportunities, and unless I just don't like it, feel like there's nothing interesting about it, then I might not do it. But like most of the time, you can find something really interesting about it, that will surprise a person. So I like that, which is why, just really quickly, I love the podcast space, because I feel like you can step into spaces, containers where, you don't necessarily have to know what's going on. You step in and you have a special surprise waiting for you, and something really, really cool comes, and so this is great. Thanks for having me. But the two things I'll reference really quickly, and this happens, I think, for a lot of actors. Listen, I had a lot of opportunity coming off of Point Break. I was a really young, up and comer, and Patrick Swayze was making phone calls on my behalf. Like after Point Break, he was calling studios and saying, "You got to meet this kid. You got to meet this kid." And Patrick Swayze was the biggest movie star in the world when I worked with him. He just had finished Ghost. Ghost was in the theaters. It was the #1 movie in the theaters, and we were making Point Break. And so everything was focused on him. And before Ghost, he was a huge movie star, obviously. So after Point Break, it was like the movie was, being put together, and it wasn't out yet. And Swayze, literally, this is the kind of beautiful friend and mentor Swayze is and was. He would make calls to the studio, like the heads of studio. So you got to meet this kid. And so I went in. I got a call from my agent, said, Swayze set up a meeting for you with Sherry Lansing and Stanley Jaffe at Paramount. This is when I think Sherry was running the studio, and her and Stanley were doing a movie called School Ties. This is before Brendan Fraser got the role.
Fraser and Matt Damon,
yeah. And so they brought me in for the lead, and they said, you come highly recommended, Patrick Swayze. I had a 2-hour sit down with Stanley Jaffe and Sherry Lansing. These are icons. I mean, if you look these people up, if you don't know who they are, these are really special people to meet. And they're like, okay, we like you for this. We want you for this. You're the guy. After the meeting, I had the role, another one in the room, because of energy work coming together at the right time. I walked out of that. And then I think what happened in retrospect was I went to a soundstage within like a week, and was put together with the whole ensemble cast of younger actors, and everyone's in that movie. If you recall, everyone's in that movie.
Is Philip Seymour Hoffman in that one too? I think.
I don't think he's in that one. I don't think he's in that one.
I'll look it up. I could be wrong.
It's a lot of people. It's a big cast, and they're all basically orbiting around me, and they're trying to do all these chemistry tests on the soundstage, and for whatever reason, I don't know what happened. Oh, I know what happened. I think what happened was Stanley Jaffe ended up leaving the picture and having to run the studio within a week's time. Something was happening. There was a big shift within that week. A new director was put onto the project and needed to see me with everyone. And so I hadn't read a script. I hadn't gotten pages yet. And I just remember it was the most uncomfortable, situation where I was like, I just don't know what's going on. What am I reading? Who am I reading with? What's happening? And by the end of that day, Brendan Fraser somehow got the job. He was on that line of actors reading opposite me, and they ended up putting him in first position, and I was out. It was a really, broke my heart. I mean, love him. And it happened the way it's supposed to happen. But that was like one of those heartbreaking moments. And there's a few others, like Newsies, the big Disney movie that Kenny Ortega directed. That was Patrick Swayze referred me because Kenny Ortega and Kenny go back because of the dance world and Dirty Dancing, and Kenny Ortega was directing this musical Newsies, and Kenny brought me in, and I sat with him and all the decision makers at Disney, and in one meeting I had the lead role. I was the guy. I was starring in this this movie. This was probably within a month of losing school ties, by the way.
No, geez.
And then, but everything was happening, and I'll wrap it up because there's probably more fun to discuss. But basically, while they were doing my deal, within 24 hours of having that great meeting, and I was gonna start this movie now. Christian Bale finished Emperor of the Sun early, which was the Spielberg movie, and he wasn't supposed to finish. And I realized that he was their first choice only after they decided to hire him, because now he was available because his schedule wrapped on the picture and he could now be available for this one thing. And so so it was a switcheroo kind of thing. And I learned quickly, that these things can change on a dime. And it was hurtful for a long time because those were huge movies for me at the time that could have really changed the trajectory. I mean, you look at Christian Bale's career, not that
you could have been Batman.
One. Yeah, I mean, hey, I can still do Batman. I am Batman. Yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so I share these things because they're fun stories. They're not chips on my shoulder anymore. You know what I mean? They used to be, but I've really enjoyed the fact that I had those opportunities and can kind of have fun sharing those stories. So,
and you're right. Philip Seymour Hoffman was not in School Ties. It was Chris O'Donnell, Cole Hauser, Ben Affleck, Anthony Rapp. So they had a bit of a Dazed and Confused reunion there with Cole Hauser, Ben Affleck, and Anthony Rapp. You got like 3 of the Dazed and Confused people in that.
I think that was before Dazed and Confused.
Was it before Dazed?
Yeah, because I read for Dazed and Confused also.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
so you could have been a Nicky Cat kind of the here to drink beer and kick some ass kind of thing.
Yeah, because there was a lot of us in that wave of young actors in that time. So it was kind of fun to kind of just riff with everybody and figure out who's going to land in these roles. But I love that I landed in some of them, and then I love the people who landed in the ones that I watch now and still enjoy. I mean, it's part of the fun of having been there. And be able to talk about it, which is really cool.
So you're still acting, but now you're also coaching and mentoring young actors. So when did the transition happen for you? When was like this moment where you're like, this is something else I can do to help people?
Sure. I was helping myself first. So It sort of came out of like a necessity. So I think I really lost interest in acting and the business of acting. I don't even remember. I think it was like the mid to late 90s. I was finding it really hard to get work and to find the right people to represent me. And I was a young dad. I had a kid when I was 21 years old, my first of 3. And I was having a really hard time, but I was hanging in there, and I was still chipping away, getting guest stars and getting little things, but having to do, other things to make a living, as we all do. And it was hard for me. And I think that was like, there's more to that story. I wrote and directed and produced a movie in the mix of all that stuff and tried to be a filmmaker. And I was a filmmaker. And then I had a deal at a company and then lost that deal because the world shifted and all kinds of things happened. We can come back to that if you'd like, but basically going forward, I just kind of gave up on it for a while. And then I started running my own nightclub promotions and marketing business because I was always a kid who went out and knew people and knew how to get cool people into a space and create a memorable experience. And then I started making a lot of money doing that. And I had money finally for the first time. And so I did that soullessly for like almost 10 years. And then I was like, what am I doing? And so I got back into acting class. And this is to answer your question, then it kind of comes full circle. When I was probably, I'm 55 now. When I was like 40, I'm like, man, I'm watching all my friends on TV every Sunday night, HBO, these great shows. And I'm watching this going, why am I not doing that? I should at least be out there, trying to get the opportunities. And so I got back into an acting class. It was cathartic. It was, it helped me kind of thaw out some rigidness that I had chips on my shoulder and things, and then I really started to enjoy who I was and what I was becoming and finding the love for the art and the craft and my relationship with self. And I wanted to share that with other people. So that is how I got into coaching that approach. In a weekly group that I called Truth Be Told Acting Collective. And then that basically it caught on really fast, and a lot of my friends, notable friends and emerging people, were coming once a week, religiously. I shouldn't say religiously, but they were coming like religiously, like really enjoying it. It was talked about, and real proud of it in a way, that like, it doesn't happen like that. It wasn't an institution. It wasn't a brick and mortar. There was no rigid system and technique. It was just finding yourself in the work and really getting to why you want to be an actor. And I think I found more in that response than just being an actor. So I just carried that through, and it's been 14 years of me kind of zooming in on that practice and coaching television and film in front of the camera. And it's a combination of notables and emerging and people who've never done it and want to just try something different. So all levels, the common denominator is you're human. You find yourself in the work. It's a safe space. It's inspired. It's relatively disciplined, and it's a lot of fun to do. And so that's kept me really grounded and allowed me to kind of sharpen my skill set. So when I'm auditioning or working in TV and film, that I'm ready to step in and do what I love to do. So I've got this closeness, this relationship to self, art, and then the business of it all, by way of coaching actors. So that's been that's been really nice for me.
I was going to ask you if coaching has changed the way you think about your past performances, and clearly it's changed your whole kind of like way of doing it and how you're going forward with it and how much you're enjoying it now.
Yeah.
So, okay, we do need to play a game of deep cuts, but I want to do something to kind of get your brain thinking about some of your past roles. And you've already kind of mentioned some stuff. So I'm going to name a character that you are credited with playing, and you're just going to try to tell me what movie or TV show this was from. Okay. So some of these are ones that I thought were a little more notable. You're credited as Greaser.
Book of Love. No.
No. Book of Love is on here, but Greaser was a Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the TV show. Yeah.
TV show.
Yeah. We've talked. We actually had Corin Nemec on, and we talked about why did Parker Lewis succeed, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the TV show, didn't, kind of thing. It was just kind of these very similar but different.
First of all, I love Quirky. Quirky's one of my best friends in the whole wide world.
He was a great guest.
Yeah, he's amazing. And when let me talk about him for 30 seconds. When he booked Parker Lewis Can't Lose, I was so thrilled because he's a little younger than me, but I've always looked up to him. We're peers. We love each other. There's mad respect. Talk to him once a week still. And when he got that series, it was Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but it was reimagined. It was like 3 O'Clock High meets Ferris Bueller. Remember 3 O'Clock High?
Such a cool movie. Don't get me started on that one. Alex is like, shut up about 3 O'Clock High. I mention it like every second episode. So
great movie. I mean, Casey's Zamasco,
from Stand By Me. Yeah.
But it's Phil Joannou who directed State of Grace. I mean, doing 3 O'Clock High. I could nerd out with you guys any day.
Is it the cinematographer or the DOP? It's he did like the Addams Family's movies.
I don't know, like a Roger.
So it's got like a lot of those
that.
like zoom ins. It's like very. I'll look it up during the commercial break. But
yeah. But a very stylized film. But I just remember, and then Abe Ben Ruby is one of my friends, but also one of my students, and he plays the big guy.
Really?
And
yeah.
So I coach Abe, and I love Abe. Abe's a good dude, and I've known him forever. But yeah, so Greaser, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Greaser. Okay, so then Richard Chapin. This is also a 2-episode arc for you on a
I remember this stuff.
Okay.
Oh geez, what's the? It's I know it. I know the show. What is the name? It's not Pacific Blue. It's
in that same
Silk
vein,
Stockings.
Yeah. Silk Stockings. Yeah, I think as a kid I felt awkward watching a show called Silk Stockings. I was like, this sounds interesting, but also
it was like Red Shoe Diaries, man. There was like a couple kind of sexy, like what's going on here? But yeah, Silk Stockings.
Okay, here's a good one. You're just credited as Teen Jerk.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a pseudo spin-off of Married with Children, if that makes sense to you.
Oh, yeah. Unhappily Ever After.
Unhappily Ever After with I can't remember the actor's name.
it's Kevin Connolly. Kevin
Connolly from Entourage, yeah, and
Yes,
Nikki Cox, I think,
yes,
was.
and they were married, which was interesting. But yeah, it was
and they're
that's
supposed
when
to be
I first
playing
met Kevin.
teenage brother and sister, and that's weirder than Dexter marrying his sister.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a really interesting thing. It was basically Married with Children. I think it was a spinoff. It was like the same creators, and the reason I got that opportunity was because it was literally the same creators of Married with Children had this show, and then they were like, BoJesse, you do this thing.
There was also a talking puppet voiced by Bobcat Goldthwait in the show, which was what said it. Alex is like, this was a TV show. I'm like, yes, Alex, it was a TV show with a talking puppet.
It's Alf, basically.
It's essentially
It's Alf,
like a raunchier elf. Yeah. Okay, here's one. Noah. It's a movie.
Pool Hall Junkies.
Pool Hall Junkies, yeah.
Wow.
Here's one. I think it's 2-episode arc because you're probably in one full episode and then like the end or the beginning of another one. Frank.
This one's tough.
This was one of my favorite shows of like the late 80s, early 90s.
Frank, give me can I tell a quick story about Pool Hall Junkies while I'm thinking about it?
For sure.
Okay. So my friend Mars Callahan, who's the writer-director and the star of Pool Hall Junkies, was making this movie at the same time I was trying to make a movie called Out in 50 that we haven't talked about yet as a filmmaker. Mars got his movie financed first through my friend Tucker Tooley, who ended up producing Mars's movie. And I'm sitting at dinner with my friend Allison Eastwood, Clint Eastwood's daughter, having dinner. We're friends. And I get a call from Tucker Tooley. And he says, "Hey man, do you know anybody that might want to be, that could play the female lead? We're in Salt Lake City, Utah right now. Somebody with a little bit of bankability, someone with a little bit of a name. Doesn't have to be someone huge, but just someone really cool that you can plug in right now." And I said, "I'm sitting with Allison Eastwood. What about Allison?" And he goes, "Perfect. She's hired." So I put her in the movie over a phone call. And then I said, "But wait, only if I can be in the movie too." And then they gave me that role. And then we both flew to Salt Lake City and did the movie, which was kind of cool.
That's awesome. I mean, helping
Hollywood
friends
stuff.
out, right? Like, yeah. I'll tell you this. Frank was Quantum Leap. So you were probably at the end of one episode where he like looked in the mirror and he's like, "What? I'm, blah, blah, blah." And then you were in the next episode kind of thing.
Well, first of all, what a great 2-part thing for me. I got to work with Neil Patrick Harris and Scott Bakula, obviously. Rich, can I talk about these things, or do we have to move on to the next part of the game?
No, for sure.
Okay, so Neil Patrick Harris I had not met before this audition, and another friend of mine, Jennifer McComb, who's an actress, was a really good friend of Neil Patrick Harris, and Neil was directing these 2 episodes. And he said, "Do you know anybody that might be right for this role?" And she said, BoJesse. They brought me in for an audition. I had long blonde hair, so the Point Break style hair. I had chipped teeth because I had my 4 teeth veneered. And when you get a veneer, they have to kind of grind everything down and then go send away from the veneers. And so you're left with these like jagged teeth before they come in and they can put them in, at least back in the freaking early 90s, right? And so I had these weird like little stubs. And I come in on this audition, and I have a great audition. Neil loves me. I love him. And he hires me on the spot, another one on the spot. When I get to the set, they cut all my hair off, and I got these great little teeth, and I use the teeth as the character to kind of build this kind of like, I kind of make sure that people can see the teeth. But I should know that because I loved playing that character, Frank. Anyway, moving on. Okay.
No, that's all right. I got one last one for you, and I think you've already kind of mentioned it, so this will hopefully be an easy one for you. But Spider's Sidekick.
Okay, that's Book of Love.
That's Book of Love. Yeah, that's
Another cool movie that I wish I was more in. It was so cool to be on that set. It was so 50s. They did such a cool, authentic job of putting everybody in the garb and like creating the world. And all my friends were the stars. And I ended up just kind of like finding my way onto the set through Danny Nucci, who was like one of my closest friends and he was Spider. And then he's like, "Yeah, BoJesse's gonna be my sidekick in this. So make sure he says a couple things and put him in the shot." So it's like, okay, cool.
And I did look it up. Barry Sonnenfeld was the cinematographer for 3 O'Clock High, and that's why you got a lot of those like push in, like very Men in Black kind of, the extreme close ups, and that's what 3 O'Clock High has, which
Before
Alex has
became
refused to see.
Director,
Tell Alex he needs to see 3 O'Clock High, would you?
It's on my list, Jeff. It's on my list.
Yeah.
Please watch the movie because it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun.
I will for you, BoJesse, not for Jeff. But
Not
I'll
for
watch
me.
it
Thank you, Alex.
because you recommended it.
Brantley, are you hanging in there? Because I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This is the best part for me is I get to sit back and listen to fun stories. So it's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then he doesn't have to listen to the podcast in a couple of weeks. He'd be like, I've heard it already. I didn't need to hear all this.
This is fun, you guys. Yeah.
Well, okay. So let's play a game of deep cuts. And while we're playing the game later on, we'll talk about you. I know you've got a movie and stuff like that. We can ask you about that. But the first thing we need to decide who's going to go first, second, or third. So what I do is I give the name of an actor and actress, and you just try to tell me what you think they're best known for is on IMDb. So,
Ooh, okay.
So just what, yours is probably Point Break and, some other stuff. So
what they're best known for, you said?
Best known for. Yeah. Not
according to IMDb.
Yeah. According to IMDb. Some people set their own. Okay. But this actor, you've mentioned him. So we're going to do Patrick Swayze. So BoJesse, and I cannot argue with this one. I agree. All four of these films, he's going Dirty Dancing right off the top. That's good. Brantley, we'll go with you second.
I'm gonna go with Ghost because that was such a big hit.
Okay. Not a bad guess either. Alex.
Maybe a less obvious answer, but a stellar performance. I'm gonna go with Donnie Darko.
Wow. Very cool.
I mean,
he is great in that movie.
It's a good guess, Alex. You're the only one to not be on the board.
Fair enough.
You guys left Point Break off, which was number 3, and Roadhouse, which was number 4. So I can't argue with them. Like you could maybe throw Red Dawn in or something like that.
Red Dawn's great. The Outsiders.
Yeah, Outsiders.
Skate Town, USA.
Yeah. Yes. But Dirty Dancing is number 1. And Dirty Ghost Dancing was number 2. So BoJesse, would you like to go first, second, or third? This is what we do. We go 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. So if you go first, you'll have to wait a little bit. If you go 2, you'll get kind of like a sandwich pick. So what feels good to you?
I'll go first.
BoJesse's going first. He feels confident. Brantley, second or third?
I'll go third because I think I've gone second almost every time, if not every time I've been here. So I'll take third.
So Alex at number 2. So the 3 movies are. And BoJesse, now you are credited in all these films, but some of them might be a little like you're a deep cut in some of these movies too, because we've done Point Break on the show twice. Okay. Once this season with John Philbin, and I could not bring it back again. As much as I love talking about Point Break. So from 1992, Sleepwalkers. Mm-hmm. From 1995, Tank Girl.
Okay.
If you want to write these down, feel free to write them down.
I got you.
Okay, and then from 1996, Escape from LA.
Wow.
So while you take a time to think about what the deep cuts in these films might be, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
You know that feeling when you take the first bite of something so good you immediately start planning your next visit? That's Taunton Tacos. Located on Taunton Road in Hampton, this local favorite is serving up fresh, bold, Mexican-inspired food packed with flavor, crunch, and good vibes. From the first smell off the grill to the last bite, everything is made with care, loaded with fresh ingredients, and served with the kind of friendly energy that keeps people coming back again and again.
Hello.
Whether you're grabbing a quick lunch, feeding the family, or chasing the perfect comfort food craving, Taunton Tacos delivers every single time. Big flavor, great people, amazing food. Taunton Tacos, 1967 Taunton Road, Hampton.
We are back with Deep Cuts the Game. We've got BoJesse Christopher, Brantley Palmer, and Alex Young. The movies tonight are Sleepwalkers from 1992, Tank Girl from 1995, and Escape from LA 1996. BoJesse, I want to say this, and you're a great guest already. And we did Red Dawn a few weeks ago, and one of the actors in Red Dawn is Powers Booth. And I feel like Powers Booth could have played your dad in something. And cool. there's just a general, because I'm always you, and then if you had a son, I would have said Canadian guy from John Carter from Mars. What's that guy's name, Alex?
Taylor.
He was Gambit in the X-Men. Yeah. So I'd be like,
those guys.
We could have like a 3, Powers Booth, you, and Taylor. I think would have been a nice grandfather, father, son kind of combo here.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the movie's about.
Launch this project, Jeff. You go ahead.
We can figure it out, though. Yeah. Is Powers
Well,
still with us, or did he pass?
He's not. He passed a few years ago, and he's one of those guys that I knew him more by name than by actual credits. Like I knew Red Dawn, and I think Frailty was the other like movie. Tombstone. That's right, Tombstone. And I kind of forgot about Tombstone.
John Philbin's in that movie. John Philbin's in that.
That's right. That was
in that movie. So this is great. Deep cuts.
You're gonna crush it.
You're gonna be fine. Yeah, I'm not worried about you. All right, BoJesse, you elected to go first. So what is your deepest cut? You can go from any of these three movies.
Yeah.
And you can do back and forth, or if you just want to like do Tank Girl or do Escape from LA all the way through, but we do 6 rounds. So what is your deepest cut from any of these three movies?
Okay. I'm gonna go with I'll go with Tank Girl. And my deep cut is Ice-T.
All right. Ice-T is one of the, I believe they're called the Ravagers, kind of kangaroo style super soldiers, which I was like, oh, that's right. There's kangaroo people in this movie. So Ice-T for 5 points.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I think you're going to need to go deeper, BoJesse, but that's okay. It's a good start.
Okay.
Brantley, we're to you. What is your first deep cut?
You're so used to me being in second place. You're trying to come to me. It's Alex.
That's right. It's Alex. Sorry. Alex, you're in the second spot. What's your deep cut?
I'm going to go to Escape from LA. And he is in the opening credits, but it's like he's got like 3 minutes of screen time in this movie under a ton of makeup. Is one of my favorites, Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell with the facial prosthetics on him. Bruce Campbell for 10 points, Alex. 10 points. Because even with all that facial stuff on him, he still just looks like Bruce Campbell.
The chin's the same.
The chin is the same. They didn't touch the chin. Yes. That's a good one. Brantley Palmer, what is your deep? You get 2 in a row here, Brantley. What's your first? I do,
yeah. Well, I was bummed because that Bruce Campbell was going to be my first choice as a Surgeon General of LA. I'll go to Sleepwalkers. It's a Stephen King film. He's in it. I'm going to take Stephen King.
He is Stephen King, playing the weird cemetery guy. Complaining that none of this is my fault. It's not my fault that these kids want to come in here and have sex all the time. So he's worth 11 points, Brantley. 11 points because it's a little bit bigger than just a cameo because he's got some lines. So Stephen King for 11. What's your second one then, Brantley?
I will go back to Escape from LA, and it's not crazy deep, but I'm going to take Pam Grier because she's awesome.
Pam Grier,
yes.
Pam. Yeah. I was watching and I texted Alex, and he's like, "This movie's crazy," and I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What's up with Pam Grier's voice?" And he's like, "Oh, she's playing
trans in this movie." Which he then dead names her a lot in that movie, but it's a product of its time. It's okay.
Pam Grier for 6 points. Brantley,
I'll take it.
Not bad. All right, Alex, back to you. What is your second deep cut?
I got one pretty solid deep cut that I'm kind of proud of in Escape from LA. And this poor woman that helped Snake escape and then is almost immediately killed in the sewers is the mom, the main antagonist in Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Wow, that is not the reference I would have gone for her, Alex.
It is one of the best movies I have ever seen, and she is, I would argue, the antagonist of the film. Who's like
her name is Valeria Golino, and I had her written down for being in the movie Hot Shots and Rain Man.
Same vibe as Portrait
she's
of a Lady
in
on
Hot
Fire.
Shots and Rain Man as the love interest in both those films. So she's worth 9 points, Alex. We clearly have different frames of reference for this actress.
Wow. That's obscure. I like that. I would have
BoJesse, we're back to you. You get your second and your third. So you saw how Ice-T maybe too big of a role in that film. So you're looking for someone a little deeper in any of these films. So what's your second one?
Okay, so let's go with Escape from LA, and let's go with Peter Fonda.
Peter Fonda, yeah, that's a good one. Also surfing on green screen, if I'm not mistaken. He's got some surf scenes there. So Peter Fonda.
Can I share with you? Can I share with you that was my role? I booked that was that was my role. It was given to me by John Carpenter. I auditioned for it. He loved me for it. He gave me the role. And then by the time it came time to shoot it, he had said, "My friend Peter Fonda is going to do it now, and I'm going to give you something else to do." There's a massive story behind it, which I will share with you only if you want to hear with it. But that was my role.
I mean, we want to hear. It's a story about Peter Fonda and you surfing,
John Carpenter.
Like, John Carpenter. Yeah, I think it's going to be a decent story. Let's hear it.
So I go to this audition. At the time, I'm doing this little independent film. I've got this really cool kind of pompadour, like James Dean kind of haircut, but it's like Woody Woodpecker red, kind of copper red. It's really cool. And I'm doing this film with Norman Reedus. I'm the star. He's my sidekick. And it's called Davis is Dead. And they pull me off the set to go audition at Paramount for this Escape from LA. Escape from New York was my favorite all-time movie. And I'm like, okay, I read this thing and I'm thinking, when he sees me, when the audience sees me, I want it to be like in Escape from New York, where when Kurt Russell gets into New York and he sees from the distance in the shadows the one crazy, almost Billy Idol looking creature guy that comes out and he's got the president's finger and but before he reveals himself, he's like, like doing that whole thing. And then he like walks into his frame and he's like, whoa, this psycho sets up the movie. I'm like, that's what this character is. I'm going to do my version of that. So that was my idea. So I did not do that in the audition, but when I got to set and Carpenter put me in a different role, I said, I'm still going to do that idea. And I'm going to come out of the shadows. I'm supposed to be paddling in this lake. I'm on a surfboard. I got a Tommy gun in one hand, dreadlocked. My face is all, sunburn, whatever. It's nighttime, spotlight on Kurt. He just arrives and the scene gets cut out, by the way. So this is why. So I don't get to talk to John Carpenter at all before the thing. I'm like, hey, can I talk to John? I've got an idea. Since he moved me to this new role, I kind of need to just have a quick chat, let him know what I'm thinking of doing, see if he's okay with it. They're like, no, you just, it's all good. He's busy setting up the shot. It's a huge thing. I mean, this is an expensive shot. He's got giant lights. We're on a lake. We're in Cascade Lake somewhere. It's a big set piece. Kurt Russell's on the shore. Didn't get to meet anybody. They're like, BoJesse, paddle out, get to your first position. We'll call action. You'll hear John's voice on the bullhorn. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be great. I didn't get to talk to John. I hope he's okay with this idea. I want to mimic the guy who goes, because I want the audience to think while I'm in the dark before I hit the light that, oh, that's the guy, he's back. But it won't be. It'll be me, right? And this is my creative brain is thinking it'll be a new character, but I'll do the laugh. And so they call action and I'm paddling and I do the laugh and I hear, cut. Can I swear? Oh, yeah,
okay. Please.
He goes, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, oh no. Get your fucking ass in here right now. I paddle in one hand because I got a machine gun, I get to the shore and Kurt Russell's there with his head just hanging down like, oh, you're going to get it, kid. You're going to get it. And Kurt Russell, I just worked with Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze was my advocate. I worked with Patrick Swayze and Patrick Swayze would collaborate, right? Kurt Russell, hey, you know what? Never met you, Kurt, because never got a chance to. And I'm not saying anything bad about Kurt now, but here's what he didn't do. He let this director, John Carpenter, rip a fucking new asshole in me in front of 200 people while trying something because he wasn't available to have a conversation with before he rolled action. I said, hey John, I'm sorry you're upset. I'll go back out there, just give me some direction, no problem, we can reset. And he's like, you're fired, you're off the set, you'll never work again in this town. Fired me. And so he started like pushing me, and we almost got in a fist fight. Like I was like, you know what, fuck you, motherfucker. And I was like, squaring off with him, and Kurt Russell did nothing. Kurt Russell stood there. I talk about this and I love Kurt Russell, but Kurt stood there and didn't do shit. And Patrick Swayze would have went, hey, you know what, guys, let's figure this out. That's the difference between those two guys. I'll tell you right off the bat. I'm already worked up about it, but that's my So that's my Escape from LA story. So John Carpenter, we don't get along.
Fair enough. That's
fuck that guy. That's what I say.
Well, I'm both equally happy and scared that I put this as one of the 3 movies for you to do tonight. So hopefully, everything's okay.
He probably doesn't even remember. He probably has no recollection, but I do. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so you just gave us Peter Fonda, who stole your role on Escape from LA. God, Brendan Fraser, Christian Bale, Peter. I mean, at least you're losing. You're losing roles guys to like incredible actors, at least, right?
Nobody was toxic on that end. But John Carpenter,
not so great. All Okay, what is your third deep cut? Where do you want to go from here? You can stay away from Escape from LA now if you'd like. You can give us Tank Girl or Sleepwalkers, wherever you're more comfortable.
All right, I'll go with Sleepwalkers.
Okay.
I mean, I can't call myself out, right?
Dude, please call yourself out.
I'm gonna call myself out. I'm gonna say,
okay.
Yeah, because I was gonna go with someone else, but I think that would have been more obvious. And I have a story about that one too. Another one that was my role, man. I got the Brian Krause role, and the director,
the lead,
for whatever reason, did a shifteroo and went with Brian. I love Brian. Brian's a friend of mine. Love Brian. And then said, "Will you still be in the movie?" And I was like, you know what? I was a single dad. I was young. I was raising a kid, and I needed the money. I was like, no, all right, I'll do it. I'll do one day for $400. So I did that.
I mean, yeah, you play essentially like a football jock in the classroom, I think, when we're first introduced to like the teacher. I mean, Crawford. It's a weird role. Like Brian's role would have been very weird. Like he's making out with his mom. It's a strange role. But I will tell you this. So not only do you get the points for Sleepwalkers, but you get the points for Tank Girl and Escape from LA because you're a crossover actor. So you're getting 44 points because I think we could talk about Tank Girl now. Are you visible in Tank Girl? I know your name. So I watched Tank Girl yesterday or the day before, and there's a scene where the actor's walking through and there's like a chore chart. And it's got your character's name, I think, was Town, is on the chore chart. Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, Town, did you clear out the blah, 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 blah?" And somebody yells out, "Yeah, I took care of it." I don't even know if it's you. That's another weird one. It's another weird one because it's so I'm in the movie. I play Town, but also so does Scott Coffey, who also plays one of the Ravagers, right? Like, is he? I think he's credited as one of the other guys, but I think he ends up getting the screen time, and they combine his character with. There's something weird about it where like they had to edit around because I got pulled in on a day. And it was like a Lori Petty thing. And she called me last minute. Can you do this thing? Once you do it, went down there, got into the whole garb and shot the thing. And then it's weird, man. I have such little recollection of actually doing the movie, but like they put me through the works. I remember getting into the treehouse and was on the soundstage, the whole thing, being invited to the premiere, names on it, the whole deal, right? And I'm like, but where am I? You know what I mean? And so I have such. Yeah, I like some of these things are in a vacuum where I'm just not sure what happened. Or there's another TV show I did called G versus E. I'm like, I don't ever remember doing it. I mean, I remember being there, but I don't remember the scenes. You know, it's weird, man. I don't know. It's like, it's strange. I was gonna say Scott Coffey. I wrote down the thing to remember him for was he's in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off as Adams when Ben Stein is like, Adams. He's just like. Present, and then that's him. So you get 44 points for BoJesse Christopher because you're in 3 movies, and 2 of them, one of them you got fired from before you even shot the scene. The second one, you're not even sure you're in it, and the third one, you're a football jock, I think, with a line. So, so that's awesome, man. Well done.
Welcome to the journeyman's acting career. Okay.
All right, let's get to Alex. Alex, what is your third deep cut?
I mean, that's gonna be a hard one to top.
You're not topping that.
I'm not. So I'm gonna take. Also with Tank Girl. I seem to remember Naomi Watts in that one.
Yes,
as,
she is
Jet Girl. I think.
Kind of forgot she was in it, but she's like essentially like second build in that movie.
She's got a big part.
She's like Lori Petty's like right hand man. So Naomi Watts for 3 points, only because you kind of forget that she's in it. Because she became like a huge star afterwards.
Right.
Brantley, you get 2 in a row. Your third and your fourth.
Okay. I also forgot Naomi Watts was in Tank Girl. I saw it. I've seen it, before, but it's been so long. I hadn't had a chance to rewatch or anything. But I do remember that Malcolm McDowell is in Tank Girl.
Yeah. He's essentially the main villain.
Yeah. He's the baddie.
Yeah,
he's the baddie. Guy. So Malcolm McDowell for 5 points, Brantley.
I will take it.
And what is your fourth deep cut?
Well, I may be sticking mostly in Sleepwalkers after this, because as a horror film,
there's
I
a
feel
lot
I
of
just
good
remember
cameos
that
in
one more.
Sleepwalkers for sure.
Yeah, and it's directed by Mick Garris, and he tends to help out his horror filmmaker buddies. But I believe Ron Perlman is in.
Oh, that's right. Ron's
Ron
in it
Perlman,
too.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't show up until about halfway through.
Yeah,
And it was kind of this must have been what, after the Beauty and the Beast TV show that he did with Linda Hamilton, but before he kind of became the Ron Perlman we all know.
yeah.
So there's one thing I noticed with him. He is standing next to the main police officer, the police chief in this. And there's a scene where the police chief is like noticeably taller than him. And I think if you ask people like, how tall is Ron Perlman? We'd be like, oh, the guy's like 6'2", 6'3", or something like that. I looked him up. He's 5'11", but he's got this like dark, like this imposing kind of thing. And I was like, oh, he's tall, but he's not. I think we all assumed Ron Perlman was this massive.
He acts taller.
He acts taller. So Ron Perlman for 7 points, Brantley.
He's the nicest guy, you guys.
Oh,
he's
nice.
such a nice guy, Ron Perlman. I know
I'm so
him.
glad
He's
to hear
a nice guy. Yeah.
That's great to hear. Yeah. He seems, I mean, he's got like that gruff exterior in so many of his characters, but he's always seemed like he's a pretty good dude.
Yeah.
He likes to talk to people. Like he wants to know your story. He's a really cool dude. Yeah. Good guy.
Cool.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Alex Young, we're back to you with your fourth deep cut.
Brought it out. Scraping bottom of the barrel here. Okay, I got one that I gotta take. It can't be a lot of points, but in Escape from LA, the president is Uncle Ben from the Tobey Maguire.
Cliff Robertson is the actor.
Cliff Roberts. Yeah, that's right.
For 8 points, Alex.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It is.
Because
He's
he
not
was
in it a
pretty
lot.
big movie star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back in the
I love it.
70s and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. BoJesse, we're at your fourth and your fifth. We do 6 rounds total, so you're in the home stretch now. What is your fourth and fifth? You did really good with yourself. So, I mean, if you can remember anyone that maybe you shared a scene with in any of these 3 movies, that would probably be a good way to go.
Okay. If I can't remember their actual name, is that going to be okay? All right. So
if you can tell me something else they were in, that would be great.
Okay. So the gentleman that I love and adore, who I worked with in Sleepwalkers, who's the teacher, who's also in Beetlejuice and a number of different movies. I forget his name. I don't know why I forget it. He's no longer with us. Such a nice guy.
Glenn Shaddix.
Glenn Shaddix. Yes.
He's worth 8 points. And it's weird. Like, yes, I couldn't remember his name from Beetlejuice. But I could remember that he was in like an episode of Seinfeld. Like always for me, it always goes back to Seinfeld. Like he was like one of the landlords, if I'm not mistaken, when Elaine wants to move into the building, and he's a very good comedic actor.
Been in everything.
I think he was in Heathers as well. He's like the priest in Heathers.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's great. I was thrilled to work with him in that. I remember that. I remember going, "Oh, this guy's in everything." You know, at the time, it was great. Yeah,
8 points for Glenn Shaddix. That's a good one.
I also remember him telling me. Oh, sorry. I also remember Glenn telling me at the time that he had this great apartment in Hollywood that he's like, yeah, I pay $200. It's rent control. I've been there for 20 years. I'm like, you pay $200? He's like, yeah, it's a big, it was a big apartment somewhere he had, but he's like, he was the only place he ever lived until his passing day kind of thing. And like, for $200, he was living in this place. I'm like,
why would you ever move? Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Let's remember that story. Yeah. Anyway.
That's great.
All right. Well, you get your 5th deep cut now. You're doing well. You just gave us Glenn Shaddix.
Okay.
What else you got?
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to my favorite movie, Escape from LA. My favorite filmmaker. I was really sad, by the way, because I love John Carpenter, like his films and everything, but the man disappointed me in that. Anyway, so Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good Paul.
It's a good one. Shows up about midway through the film, and I'm just never really clear if he's like helping out the lead or if he's
just like a tour guide, or so he's like a Hollywood tour guide. Like, you can go here, I know how to get there. Let's go, kind of thing, right?
So Steve Buscemi for 5 points.
Okay,
that's a solid one. Alex, you get your 5th deep cut.
This is my very last one from Escape from LA, and the last one on my list, so not so good. But I don't want to say the actor's name, but like I'm gonna say the main antagonist of like the FBI guys, for lack of a better word, his right-hand woman, and because we're also working with the president, they're in the control room and the whatever, is in True Blood. She is in a couple of seasons. She's like an ethereal. I think she ends up being like Gaia.
We're talking about the woman with the black hair, right?
Yeah, short black hair.
Okay. Yeah, I would say notably for she was in the TV show The Killing. Right?
Oh, okay.
She's
The
the
main
mom
character?
of the girl that gets killed. Her name's
yes.
Michelle Forbes is her name. And she was in the
That's a
Duchovny
deep cut.
movie California with K with Brad
K?
Pitt. Yeah, the
Yes.
Brad Pitt David Duchovny serial killer movie with
I like
Juliette
her.
Lewis.
Actually, I like
Yeah.
her.
Yeah,
Michelle
great.
Forbes. Yeah.
Michelle
Great.
Forbes for 7 points, Alex. Solid. All right, Brantley, you get your final 2.
Okay. Mick Garris casts his wife in everything he does, basically, and I don't remember her name, but I'm just going to say she was in the Stand miniseries because Mick Garris also directed that.
So we're looking at Sleepwalkers, right? So we're
Yes.
looking for the director's wife, Mickey
Yeah.
Garris. We
I
don't
believe
know
her
what
last
her
name is Garris, but I don't remember her first name.
All right, let me look it up. And it's funny that we're doing Sleepwalkers because we opened this season with Corin Nemec on the show, and he talked about auditioning for Sleepwalkers
Oh, he
and
did.
not getting it because he wasn't big enough. But then he got put in the Stand miniseries because his demeanor more reflected kind of the creepier.
Yeah.
Lankier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me do a
Interesting.
Control F here and see if we got a Garris in the cast. Mick, Cynthia Garris. I guess I'm going to give you
Cynthia
credit for
Garris?
that. I'm going to give you credit for that. She played Lori.
I'll take it.
I don't know who Lori was in the film, but yeah, she was in The Stand as Susan and in The Shining and Critters too. So there you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cynthia Garris.
All stuff he's directed. Yeah.
I guess the rule is if I don't have them written down on the list, you get 20 points for them automatically.
Oh,
So
wow.
it seems like a cheap 20 points there, but that's the rule. So
It
20
does
points
feel
for Brantley.
cheap. Yeah.
Brantley, what's your final deep cut?
I feel like I've gotten lucky just guessing, from Sleepwalkers, knowing Mick Garris and that it's Stephen King with those. But I'm also kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point. It's like, do I name the star of one of these movies? Yeah, unless I'm gonna have to go just like Lori Petty for Tank Girl. I don't.
The deeper the cut, the bigger the bonus, right?
Yeah. I feel like I got lucky with Cynthia Garris. I wouldn't want to guess anything else.
Yeah, Lori Petty for 1 point
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
appropriate. So not bad, not a bad score there, Brantley. Alex, what's your final deep cut?
I'm essentially going to pull a Brantley here, and I'm just going to take Mad Chinamick from
Mick from Sleepwalkers as the female lead, best known for what? Twin Peaks,
Twin Peaks.
right?
Twin Peaks.
and
Yeah.
Dream
Yeah.
Lover with
Dream
James
Lover.
Spader, which I love.
Oh,
That
wow.
movie's great.
All right.
She's worth 2 points, Alex, because she's slightly less known, obviously, than Lori Petty. But yeah, kind of the star of the film. Okay,
Yeah.
BoJesse, you don't really need any points here to seal the deal on your
Really?
win. But
I thought I did
do-
the worst.
No, you did great by saying BoJesse Christopher.
just showing up.
That just showing up. So what is your final deep cut?
Okay, I'm gonna stick with Escape from LA
Okay,
because there's a lot of people in that movie.
there is.
So Stacy Keach,
Stacy Keach as essentially the president's
henchman.
henchman. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stacy Keach for 6 points. So that's a solid finish to your game. Let me give you a quick rundown on people you maybe missed. AJ Langer from Escape from LA.
Yep.
She's also in
AJ's
People Under
great.
the Stairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeff Imada, who's in Big Trouble
Yep.
in Little China.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Carpenter uses a lot of the same people. So Peter Jason was in They Live. He's one of the military guys. Brecken Meyer is
Brecken
supposedly
Meyer.
credited as a surfer in that film too.
Huh.
I don't
He is?
know. That's according to IMDb, Brecken Meyer is credited as a surfer.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we'd have to ask Brecken Meyer about his recollection of that and see if he was like, I'm not
Maybe
in that
he
movie.
also got fired, and that's
Yeah,
why
he did. Yeah.
He might have. He wouldn't
Yes,
surprise me.
and Robert Carradine took his part because Robert Carradine is a skinhead in that film. Leland Orser from Seven, he's the guy that has the knife on. He made me
Oh.
do.
I
He's
know,
like
I
kind
know
of
the actor. Yeah.
Isaac Hayes,
Cool actors.
and then a young
Isaac Hayes.
Wyatt Russell as an orphan boy.
Oh.
Shows up somewhere.
I should have guessed something like that. I should have like take a stab with something like that. Wait, is Isaac Hayes really in it?
It says he's in it.
First one, right?
Well, maybe it's some sort of like flashback. I don't. Yeah, but he's credited in IMDb as being in it.
Okay. Well, I did research for Escape from New York with Gorley and Rust, and after it was when Isaac Hayes heard they were making a new one, supposedly he was like, "John, you got to put me in it," because he loved working on Escape from New York, but. From what I heard, Carpenter was like, "No, you're dead. I can't put you in Escape from LA." So I'd be surprised. Maybe okay, interesting.
Tank Girl, Richard Schiff. Alex, one of your favorites. Richard Schiff is supposedly in it somewhere. Doug Jones, the kind of Doug Jones is what does a bunch of the Ripper kind of action. James Hong, legendary actor. James Hong is in it. Iggy Pop has a cameo as the guy who's like taking the girl. He's going to take the little girl away. And then one of my favorite is one of the Rippers is the actor Reg E. Cathy. He's got a very distinctive voice. I cannot place what I know him from, but if you'd be like, yeah, I totally know this guy, Reg E. Cathy.
Yep, he's a lot of great character actors. Just a lot of good guys.
And then Ann Cusack, sister of Joan and John, is in it as Subgirl. So there must be a scene where there is a submarine and she's driving the submarine. So Sleepwalkers. Yes, Brantley, you could have almost said any director of horror films from like the 80s.
Okay.
John Landis.
Can I guess one, Jeff, that I didn't want to risk it, but is Toby Hooper in it?
Toby Hooper, Clive
Barker,
Joe Dante, and John Landis all have cameos.
I should just knowing Mick Garris. I should have just guessed like horror directors. And
as does Mark Hamill has a tiny little cameo at the very beginning as a cop in the first town. Where like they've killed all these cats and like it's just Mark Hamill like and he's got a bad mustache but once you hear the voice you're like, oh, that's and then two of my favorite ones who are the parents of Madchen Amick are Cindy Pickett and Lyman Ward, who were actually married in real life and are the parents from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, wow, what a trip.
Right? They met on Ferris Bueller's, got married, were in this movie together as a married couple, but I don't think stuck it out for the long haul. Because, but well done. Final score, Alex 39, Brantley 50, BoJesse 78.
No way.
Nice.
Well done. Well done.
No way.
Yes, it is. Well done. It is a little bit. So the prize for the winner, BoJesse, and it gets more awkward to award this prize every episode, is we just ask you if there's anyone you know that you think might have a brain for this type of game. We had Matt Adler on and he crushed it. John crushed it. Corin did pretty good. His was a little tougher because his movies from when he was like 12 years old and stuff like that. So it was a little tougher for him to remember, like Tucker, a man in his dream, was a little tougher to call for him. But we're just wondering if you know of anyone that might enjoy this sort of nonsense as it is.
Oh, I'm sure. Do I need to answer that right?
You don't have to answer it now. I'll hit you up later. We won't put you on the spot. But we do want to give you a chance to promote. Like, we know you got your acting school, and I believe it's people can literally find it by searching BoJesseChristopher.com, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yes.
They can find you on Instagram. Is there anything else you want to direct people to? You got anything coming up that you want to let people know about?
You know what? You nailed it. I mean, my website, BoJesseChristopher.com. You can Google me. You can check me out on IMDb Pro, Instagram. It's all BoJesse Christopher. I am working on a bunch of fun things. There's a lot of television creation and feature film creation that I'm behind the scenes working to bring to audiences, and a few things that maybe we could circle back on that once I get a little closer, when I can actually reveal some of the excitement around those things. I mean, there might be some. I mean, I guess you guys have already heard that there's the Point Break TV series that's in development at AMC Studios, and that's happening. Did you guys hear about that?
No, we didn't, but we do now. That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things. So more on all of that. But yeah, there's a lot of fun things to look forward to, and I'm just excited to be here and to be in the flow with you guys. And it's always fun to kind of talk about the things past, present, and future. So thank you guys for having me.
Well, listen, we were thrilled to have you, and you are welcome back anytime. I would love to. Let's get a show with like you, John and like Matt Adler, and we'll just like do a deep dive on like surf movies and stuff like that.
Sure.
No, you've been excellent. And yeah, if you've got something come up, please send it our way. We'd love to help try to promote it in any little way that we can. Speaking of promoting, Brantley, I know you're working on a documentary. How close are you getting to releasing that?
Well, it's out to one of my docs is out to a number of festivals now. It's going to have like a local premiere for the folks who are involved in it next month in June. And we've already started filming my next documentary. So we were out in LA. We shot at Vidiots and stuff for a while this past week and everything, which was great. That one's going to be about independent movie theaters and how they are surviving in this day and age of like corporate consolidation and the streaming and post-COVID and all that stuff. And we have a lot of great, wonderful theaters that we're going to be visiting and the owners and stuff that we're talking to. So that I think is going to be awesome. If people want to follow that, they can find me on Instagram, Brantley.Palmer, and I link to it from there and everything. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Love it.
Yeah.
Alex Young, and what do you got?
You know what? I want to yield my time because I want to bug BoJesse one last time if he's got a quick story about the movie you directed. I'm curious.
Your movie, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the movie's called Out in 50. I appreciate that, Alex. Yeah, it's called Out in 50. It was something that in the face of like all the Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, Allison Anders, like everyone was making independent movies in the early 90s, and it was a pioneering sort of concept to kind of just write your way into the business in a very independent way. And, a lot of the festivals were receptive to people doing that. And so as an actor, I really kind of put myself into trying to create something that was a vehicle for myself that I could, one, star in, but also direct, write, and produce. How narcissistic was that? But it's it's so hard to do, you guys know. But it's also so fun to explore and find where you connect in the approach to each one of those art forms. And it was a total masterclass in just doing something and finding out, more about myself and how I can get something done. But Out in 50 took me 6 years to develop and then ultimately attach so many of my friends to it and then raise money independently around Mickey Rourke. So Mickey Rourke was, after 6 years of trying to get it made with various different people, we had $1 million from a private equity participant contingent on Mickey Rourke saying yes within 24 hours. And I didn't know Mickey Rourke. And I had a producing friend, my friend Robbie Brenner. Robbie Brenner is famously has famously produced films like Barbie. She was the reason Barbie got made. She runs Mattel Film and Television now. She was at Miramax Films, and she was at the time moonlighting as an independent producer. And my film Out in 50 was that film. And she, before her days at Miramax, was Mickey Rourke's assistant. She said, I have a relationship with Mickey Rourke. Let me see if I can access him. She got him into a meeting with me within like 2 or 3 hours. I sat and met him for lunch. I was 24 years old. He looked at me, grabbed the cool sunglasses off my face, put them on, and said, I'll do your movie if I can have these glasses. I said, you got it. And then we started work the next day, and I made this movie for $1 million. I wrote, produced, directed it, co-starred in it, pre-sold it to the foreign market, had paper against the $1 million that we were about to spend. So we delivered a product, recouped, turned profit, and then turned around and sold the northern distribution rights to Lionsgate, straight to video, and the rest is history. But yeah, like I put a lot of people in that film, and then there were a lot of people that I knew, like Jared Leto, Reese Witherspoon, Norman Reedus, a lot of people that I attached to the film that by the time after 6 years we got into making it, they weren't available anymore because they were all stars. And it's great. I have so many memories. It's been beautiful, and I just reclaimed the rights to the movie, so that's cool. I can license the rights now, so that's been really rewarding after 30 years. Yeah, and so yeah, thank you for asking. I had a partner that I wasn't in full agreement with, so we made a movie that we were both sort of half okay with, and so like in retrospect, I would have done either one thing or the other, and not try to do all things with another person trying to do all things. So I think the thing I took away from that is like, you have to love the people that you work with. You have to believe in the writing, and you have to really want to spend time and energy on the thing with those people and to get the thing done, because it's an energy consuming endeavor. And it really forced me to really take a step back and reapproach how I want to make things going forward based on how it feels. And so I think that's a lesson to share and to practice, I think. So thanks for the question, Alex.
That's incredible.
Awesome.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Well, we're at the part of the show where Alex sends me an outro that I have to read sight unseen. Sometimes there's a awkward accent or something involved.
Yeah, there's always something that I throw you under the bus about, Jeff. So this one should be short and sweet, but I want you to give me, and now I regret it based on earlier stories, but give me your best Snake Plissken, which I don't think is an impression you can do.
I mean, isn't it just kind of like gruff? And
yeah, it's essentially gruff.
He's got like 9 lines the whole movie, so it's not like there's a real.
So this should be easy for you then.
All right,
Alex.
This is the end of the line. Transmission.
I appreciate the challenge, Alex.
Jesse's way better at it.
Well, he's an actor, Alex. He's stood next to this guy while he didn't say anything while he got yelled at by John Carpenter. So there's clearly
this impression.
Yeah,
that's it. He's more body language. He just
got a one-way ticket out of this zone. A full tank of gas.
Looks to the side, then he moves on. He's
10 minutes before the tracking device. Then my neck decides to complicate my day.
Yeah, I really wanted to like those guys.
And Brantley for making my time here.
Let me tell you,
just
really wanted to like those guys, but you know what? Every time I try to tell the story in a calm way, I just get angry. I get annoyed.
Listen, we've got things. I get it. I've got shit that's way smaller than that makes me angry 30 years later. So I can get it. Okay, we'll wrap this one up. I don't care where you go from here, back to your safe little lives or straight to the meat grinder. It's all the same to me. Just make sure to follow Deep Cuts anywhere you get your podcasts. Don't look for me and don't call my name. I'm already good. Thanks very much, everyone. We'll see you next week on Deep Cuts.